A group squatting in a building meters away from Buckingham Palace have now been evicted. It comes after the owners of the 7-storey property took their case to the High Court, claiming the activists could pose a risk to the Queen's security. Well, Eleanor Cunningham has been following this story. Now, Eleanor, where have the concerns come from?
Well, it's mainly down to proximity. Where the squatters have been, they're about a 2-minute walk away from Buckingham Palace itself. If we have a look at a map, we can see that they're practically next door neighbours, and this is where the security concerns have been brought up. Now, for the last 4 days, as of the very early hours of this morning, there's been about 30 people staying there. And the eviction started last night and everyone was out by around 4 o'clock this morning. Now, the reason they've been evicted is because the property owners filed a submission to the High Court. And in one of the witness statements that was filed, they said one of the palace officers actually flagged up that it might cause a threat to the Queen, a security threat, because if they gained access to the roof of the building, they could actually see into the grounds and into some of the bedrooms of the actual palace itself. So that's why it's being taken so seriously. I actually spoke to one of the squatters today who was at the place, and they did say that they weren't planning to do anything given the proximity, but then again also on their social media they did apparently joke about how they were trying to get close to the royal bedroom. So obviously that was flagged also and caused some issues for the people who were thinking about the security of the palace. The palace itself won't speak on security, and they say this is all a matter for the police, so they haven't said anything in regards to it.
Did the squatters give any indication of their motives?
Yeah, so this is a group who have been in the media quite a lot since the beginning of this year, really. They're very vocal. They call themselves the Autonomous Nation of Anarchist Libertarians, and they have been occupying multi-million-pound homes in very, very affluent places in the capital. And their one message is to highlight issues of the housing crisis. They're saying that places are being left empty and dormant with many rooms that could be used, and they are now gaining access, occupying these and allowing homeless people to come in. Before taking up Buckingham Palace Gate, they were at Eaton Square, in Belgravia. This was a place that was worth 15 million, owned by a Russian oligarch. They described this as an embassy, and they were trying to make it a homeless shelter themselves. They stayed there for about a week, but were evicted later, and this all happened in early January. But then they are clearly quite organised. Within 24 hours, they'd moved on. They'd got a place in Grosvenor Square, which was around £17 million. Huge place once again. And this is where they have been given an eviction notice for this place, but currently there are still people staying there until that notice gets pushed forward. And as I said, when I spoke to squatters today, they said this is just one of many. When they get evicted, they will be moving on to more properties across the capital, kind of playing Monopoly with these big, huge homes which are lying dormant at the moment. But they say they'll keep doing it until they see some change.